Welcome to Real Kiwi Fishing. This week I'm out on the west coast. I'm up Muriwai today. Got a real nice swell, about 1 metre, and we got offshore winds, and we got a pretty good tide. Low tide's around 7 o'clock, so it's a good tide for a night fish and an early morning fish. Just on my way up the beach, and I'm just checking out a few holes. It's just before mid-tide out, so I'm just looking for a bit of deep water where I can come back and fish into the night. Got a little hole here out in front of us, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark here my initials, so I know if I come back this far that there's a nice little hole here to fish through that high tide into the night. So yeah, out of Muriwai today on a solo, and hopefully I get into a few fish. Hope you guys enjoy. So there you go, guys. I've just put a little X marks the spot, so when I'm driving back, if I come back this far, I know there's a nice little deep water here, little patch. You can see there that wave's going to disappear out there. It's telling me there's some deep water there. So high tide, the water's going to come up here, and I'm going to be able to cast into that through that high tide. I'm not too far along the beach. I want to go further, but I thought I'd just mark it anyway, just in case. So we'll carry on up the beach. Want to get up the end there, near the end, around that half tide out. And that'll give me a good 2 or 3 hours fishing that tide, that low tide. So the tide's probably a couple of hours out. I do prefer that half tide out, just gives you a little bit harder sand, but as you can see, I'm driving down near that water's edge. It's a lot more firm, so as I come up closer to the dunes there, I'm hitting some soft sand. So that's why I prefer to drive it around that sort of mid-tide, that half tide out, because you're on that hard packed sand. But it's okay, the swell's pretty small, you're not going to get big sweepers coming up. So I'm just, like I was saying, I'm just going to follow this little water's edge, and it'll get us where we need to get to. It's getting around guys like this is quite hard, because you've got to go up around them. So we're up on that soft sand. Car's revving out, gone around them, and we'll just make our way back down, still in that soft sand, and we're close to that edge now, and we're on that more firm sand. So half tide out, it's a lot better. Got a couple of hours now, but like I was saying, the swell's only small. It's about 1 metre, maybe just under 1 metre, so there's no big sort of waves coming in right up and going to force us up on that soft sand. So we've got another sort of hole here, just coming here, like the water's going around here, so there's a little hole in here, and then as the tide gets high, you're going to be fishing basically off front of the sand dune, straight out here. So you've got a little bit of deep water there. And you can see us sort of going around it again. But we'll keep going. I like to fish at least sort of 15 k's up the beach. That's when I'll seriously start looking. Okay guys, we've found another spot here. See these waves breaking out there? They're going to disappear as they get closer to us. The one right here is breaking on a little shelf. So those further ones are disappearing. Deep water there, rebuilding. And they're going to break sort of right here. And it's sort of like a little shelf here. So another spot that's not too bad. It's letting me know there's deep water there. I'm trying to find a spot where I can get the car in safely. Tide's going to come up here, roughly around here. So I'm going to be able to wade out a little bit and cast out into that deeper water. So another spot. And there's, like I was saying, these little waves right in front of us are breaking on sort of a shelf. And then there's obviously a little channel or a hole where those waves disappeared. But we're still not that far up the beach, so I'm going to carry on. Got a couple of hazards on the beach there. A couple of cars been bogged in, so you always got to keep your eye out. Sometimes they can be just under the sand too, so especially driving at night's pretty dodgy, or can be. It's good to have spotties or something if you're going to be driving the beach at night. Okay guys, I'm about 15 k's up. Can't really see any houses anymore at Muriwai there. And I've come across this spot here. This is where you sort of get cut off through that high tide because the water comes right up onto these sand dunes here. So widens out past here, and as you go look up there, the water will come right up towards those sand dunes. So there's nowhere to really park the car safely, and this is a real nice spot. I've got sort of a little bowl in here, so I'd say a hole, and it's a real nice one. That wave's breaking way out there. It's probably about 300 meters, and it's just going to bubble, basically disappear. And there's a real nice patch of deep water here. A couple of shags been feeding in there as well, so probably a lot of bait fish. So this is a real nice spot, but yeah, nowhere to park the car, which is a bummer. Got a little spot back here that I might be able to reverse up into, and then I'll just walk along here and cast out into this spot here. See that calm spot right there? It's a little bit deeper water, and as that tide comes in, it's going to get deeper, and you can see sort of here the sand goes up to those sand dunes, so it's going to get nice and deep. It's going to get hit a lot deeper. So I'm going to mark the spot and see if I can reverse up into that little area back there, because that's a real nice spot there, and we're quite far along, which I like. We're heading into the spots where I fish on the low tide, but I'd be fishing here probably for another hour and a half, but every time I do that I end up missing out on my spot up the end there. But I'm very tempted to throw a bait out in there. Tide is dropping, so it's going to get shallower, but nice spot, that one. I'm going to mark it. Okay guys, we're up near that top end as far as we're allowed to go. And what I'm looking for, basically we've got that lip, that low tide lip that's breaking just out there, and then we've got a little bit of deep water here. As that tide goes out, you'd be able to cross that and then get onto that lip right where those waves are breaking out the back there. So what I'm doing is I'm trying to find where that deep water thins out and heads towards that bank, so I'm not having to cross it. There's probably those little mogul things, all those little bumps and stuff sitting in that little gap, and when I'm walking out there at this time, sort of going in the little holes and up over the moguls, and so there's the bank there right where that wave is breaking, and then we've got about 70 to 80 meters to get there. So what, like I was saying, what I'm trying to do is just figure out where that lip is going to be closest to us. So I'm just slowly driving, keeping my eye on that wave breaking. That's the lip that we want to get to, and we want to try and get there now. It's half tide. The sooner we can get to it, the longer we get standing on it. So I'm just going to keep driving slowly until I see basically a bank will sort of start heading out towards it. The water will drain out and it'll show a little sort of dry bank. So we're getting pretty close to it. It's sort of 50 meters. So where that wave's just rolling in hasn't broken yet, and it's breaking now, that's the bank. That's where we want to get to. It's pretty close here. Just depends on how deep that little sort of in the trough, that little inside gutter is going to be. See, there it is there. It's pretty close here. There's a big set rolling out the back, and that's hit that outer bank, and then it's disappearing. That wave's just gone. It's deep water, waves rolling in. It's going to reform and then break pretty much on that lip. So I can see right here where that water's draining out. It's going to be those little moguls, those little holes that we've got to cross over. So it's not a bad spot here. Tides is just going to keep going out, and we'll be able to probably get there at some stage without even getting wet. Okay guys, I think I've found a spot we can try. The wave's breaking right there, boom, right on the lip. So I'm going to walk out. You basically want to wait for a set to come in, see it rolling out the back. That wave disappeared. And that's basically going to be breaking right there on the lip. So that's not too far. It's going to start sort of getting quite dry here. Sort of dry there as well. But there's the lip there. So what we'll do is we'll gear up anyway, and we'll have a couple of baits. And if nothing happens, we'll move on. We'll give it about 20 minutes. You want to have a couple of bites within 20 minutes. And if you've got no bites, move on. Move on to the next bank. But yeah, we'll gear up here and we'll see how we go. Get a couple of baits out. So I brought along a couple of combos. Got my good old kōtare and the flight surf, and I've also got the MC Nano, and I'll run the T-Rex on that. What I'll do is I'll gear up the kōtare first. Might just chuck this out and just see if I get a bite, and then I'll gear up the other one. Obviously run a recurve Mutsu hook on the other one, let it fish itself. So I get a lot of questions, what's the better rod to use? Basically it's the Kōtare. It's top of the line, it's light, 46 ton graphite, and it's got that fast taper, so it's nice to flick, easy to flick, and it's just super light. And then with the flight surf on it, that thing weighs nothing, so it just makes that whole combo super light. So end of the day, it's the Kōtare that I would pick over all of them. The MC Nano is a great rod, but it's quite heavy. It's a lot heavier than the Kōtare, and even when you're casting, you sort of feels quite butty, but it is quite a nice rod, comboed up with the T-Rex. It's quite hard to find a spot when it's sort of like that mid-tide-ish, because you just don't know how far that water's gonna drag out. Is it gonna drag to the, you know, to where we want to be on that lip? But I do love Surfcasting Muriwai, even if it's, you know, not a really hot bite or anything like that. It's still great being out here. I do say the fish is the bonus, and it really is, but it is nice to get on to fish. It can be quite frustrating if you're not getting anything. It can sort of ruin your day, but hey, if you're out here getting a line wet, it's pretty much as good as it gets, rather than sitting at home or at work. It's quite good coming up here through the week. Day through the week you get stuff, all people coming up, so it's basically just me here on the beach. I can see down here, probably about 800 meters, there's another sort of where the water goes out. It looks pretty good, but we'll give it a shot here, see what happens. Got the old bait board this time. Guys should get one of these if you're into your surf casting. Keep all the crap off the back of your car. Had to get a bait knife on the way. I forgot to get a bait knife at home. So we've got basically it's more like a southeast. It is easterly, but there's a little tinge of southerly in it. So sort of cross offshore. So you're going to get a bit of pull on the line. So let's hope the snapper here, coming into that sort of early midsummer, so the water's warmer, a lot more fish are coming in, but a lot of small fish, so probably a lot of small snapper. There should be something mooching around with them. So I'm using 40-pound Suffix. is my main line, and then I've got a 50-pound leader. Reason why it's heavy is it just helps that hook to sit out from your main line. If it's too thin, it just droops down. But yeah, got my usual, about 1 meter, 5 ounce. Got a little glow tube there, little float, and a little glow bead, 6-bar row. It's got my usual baits, be half pillies. Do have a bit of squid there that I grabbed as well. It's blown about 25 knots, probably gusts up to 30, but being offshore pretty much, it's well doable for Muriwai. Saw a big school of kawai bubbling out the back. There's been a couple of max line on the shoreline too. So we've got our first bait sorted, so let's get out there, get our first bait out. See if anything happens for us. It's drawing out further now, so should be able to get pretty close to it. Got water comes in behind. We've got a patch here that's going to be out of the water on the other side of this water, so it's a pretty good spot. So we've got like a little hole on this right hand side, and I'm walking over those little mogul things. Gets shallow, deep, and then this patch here is gonna be out of the water. So basically it's just about out of the water now. There's water coming in around us, all the mogul things there, bumps. And then here, basically, I'm out of the water here, and this will become dry on the dead load. It's dry there already. See the water in behind it, and then it's meeting. And there's the lip. So we're going to get pretty close to it, guys, which is good. Looks like we've got a heap of mullet. That wave's going to break. That's where the lip is. It's about 20 meters in front of me. So I'm not going to get too wet because it's pretty close, and then if I don't get any bites, I'll get a little bit more wet. Give it a good heave. And then I just walk back, letting line out as you're walking back. Something's bit it. Yeah, something's bit it. Oh, we're on already, guys. Woohoo! That's what you got to be careful to as you're walking back. Fish can bite. It's probably a kawai. But hey, that's good. We'll have a bit of fresh bait if some big snapper turn up. And and we'll have a slice for dinner. It was pretty quick. I'm just walking back as I'm winding. I think it's a shark actually. That's the trouble too, this time of year there will be a lot of little sharks in this little channel. It's like a little bronzy. Be able to let him go in this deeper part. There you go. Just a little shark. I'll keep an eye on him, take him out. Next bait. That was pretty quick. Bait up again. Like I was saying, there's just nobody along the beach, just me, which is nice. Back out there. So there you go guys, this is the water stool just coming in behind me around there, and all this bank is now pretty much dry, and I'm walking out to that lip. So that's what you're sort of looking for. Got a hole over here on that far side, and there'll be a hole there, you can see it there, and we're standing on this little bank, and that's just the ruts pretty much in behind us. Let's just hope it's not all sharks out here. Can be a problem this time of year. A lot of little sharks. The water just gets warm and everything comes in. Probably stingrays as well. But there's got to be some snapper in there as well, somewhere. Pretty much just going to hold the rod the whole time. I'm picking there's going to be bites pretty quick. Oh yeah, we're on again. Oh no, oh dang, that was a lot better. We're on guys, we're on. so much bites. They're biting as I'm walking back. This one might be a little snappy if we're lucky. Had a couple of good grabs. Coming in on the wave. Keep that line tight. It's only small. Whatever it is. Might even luck a gurnard like last time. Little snappy. It's definitely snapper there. There you go. Just a little fella. Is takeable. It's probably around that 32, 33. Definitely takeable, but we'll let him go. Man, I'm getting a heap of bites. They're biting as I'm walking back. It's just a heap of fish out there. Had a couple of nice grabs. Might even be lucky this afternoon, late arvo in one of those holes that I marked. We'll get another bait out while we can. It's just so fishy out there. Yep. Yep. Oh. Oh, mate. Just wondering if I should change over to the recurve. They're just grabbing it. Yep. Oh, mate. I think I might have to change over to that recurve, that VMC shore set. Oh, little tap. Actually found a yellowtail on my way up. I might chuck that on, but we're hooked up. Woohoo! On the third time. Oh, he's on that bank. Slowly pull him up over it. At least we're hooked up. He's on the wave. Feels like another snappy maybe. Might have to keep a couple of these takeable ones. This one feels maybe a little bit bigger if it's a snappy. Oh yeah, she's a snappy, all right. Just another little fella. Probably around that same size. There you go. There's going to be plenty of these guys out there, like I was saying, this time of year, coming into that midsummer. He's once again, he's probably around that 33, 34. So I might keep him. We let that first one go. He's a nice little eater, that one. We'll chuck him in the bin. Just cubed up that yellowtail that I found on my way up. Chuck that out. Might hang in there a little bit longer. But that pilly did quite well. 3 hits. We'll get this out. Okay guys, I've set up the other combo. So this is the MC Nano with the T-Rex, and I'm running that suicide hook. It's the VMC shore set. So we'll flick this out, chuck it in the holder, let it fish itself, and I'll get the kōtare back out. Got a chunk of yellowtail on this one. So it doesn't get grabbed while I'm casting. Quite a strong pull down that right hand side. Not sure if these crossed over. Oh. We're on the old recurve. Pretty much fishes itself. I think it's a Kiwi, this one. See it jumping. So I don't mind if he gets off. Still a lot of fun though. Could be another shark. At least we're catching fish. Looks like a Kiwi. This time we can use them for half a bait and half for dinner. Those harder baits, good for this combo. Nice big Kiwi. Yep. Not sure what this is. Feels a bit funny. I think he's gone. Yeah. Not sure what that was. It's quite heavy. Running a bit of bling on this one. So what I've got a pink skirt, squid skirt, but I've got a bead skirt, and I've got a float inside the skirt. So a bit of Lumo tube and bead keeps it up out of that bait, but the tentacles flap around the bait there, so it seems to do the trick. I'll just chuck this out and I'll take that Kiwi up. Say it's probably just about dead low tide. Might have even already turned, but should still have about an hour and a half before we get pushed off. Bites are sort of slowed down. Okay guys, even though I've probably still got about an hour here on this little bank, what I might do is just do a couple more baits and then head back and try and suss out a spot for that evening. Don't want to leave it too late, don't want to get there dark and not sort of know where I am, so probably a couple more baits, still getting bites, and then yeah, we'll probably just call it and head back down there, set up for the evening, do a fish into one of those holes over the high tide, I think, see what happens. Okay guys, haven't had a bite for about 20 minutes, and like I was saying, I want to get up that end while there's still light. So what I'll do is I'll probably pack up, probably still get about half an hour, 40 minutes here, but with it not really firing anymore, I thought what I'll do is pack up, head down, and I might spot another bank to have a quick flick off. So yeah, we'll probably call it here. It's pretty cool. When I first got here, it was pretty hectic. But yeah, we'll pack it in and I think we'll head down. See how we go as we head down. Just got a hit. Yep. I was walking back the other rod, pack it in and looked back. And the MC was hooked up. I think it's just the Kiwi though. Another little bronzy. Bye.